I'm Melanie Beagle, it's my husband Wayne, and we're from Amarillo, Texas.
Oh, that's a good question. We considered moving from the U.S. actually the early planning stages several years ago. We did some research on Costa Rica, Belize, Rotan, Honduras, Ecuador, and lastly Panama. And we had kind of a mental checklist that we really had, and there are several things that were important to us to relocate, or climate being one, but religion being one, government stability being one, just how they received Americans being one. Church situation where we were going to relocate, all those things figured in. And when we did that, Panama just went to the top of the charts.
I think for me, I'm just newly retired, and I just wanted a place where we could just kick back, be ourselves, no stress, no heavy traffic.
Yeah.
So that was important to me.
Well, everything I read and the people I talked to and read a lot of blogs just were really high on Panama. Once you come here and once you tour the country and see the variety here, but then once you get to Boquete, it has a special allure all of its own. I call it the Boquete bug because when you get here, it's just breathtaking. And there's just such an innocence with in a good way, with the people and the culture. It's kind of like stepping back in my hometown in 1960, where things were just so pleasant, and it's just so refreshing to see that again, and that's what you get here. And we were well received. Everybody we talked to was extremely helpful, and there's some frustrations that come along, but oh my goodness, we just knew this was a place for us.
Wayne was on the internet, just on International Living website, and saw an advertisement for a relocation tour for Panama, and started talking about it, and that the timing was just perfect for us. And we signed up and went, and just really learned a lot of helpful information.
We were considering it, but we were at ground zero. We knew kind of what we wanted to do, but we didn't know how to get there. And what the relocation tour did, it just connects the dots. And you look at that, and we saw people's comments about it, and we saw pictures, we saw videos, and I said, this is something we really need to look at. And that's how we got started looking at this tour.
Intimidating at first, but then when you're with a group of people, kind of a support group almost, it gets less intimidating.
I was kind of, there's several that kind of popped up. Once I saw the ad for a relocation tour, I started reading about it, and I saw that there were some other tours out there. But I just got a feel just from the information that I got off of her website and the comments that everybody else made versus the ones that I saw at some other tours. I just decided this was the one that we really wanted to go with. Oh, very helpful. Melissa in Dallas, she's a integral part of the whole process too. And we really did more dealings with her than Jackie in the initial stages, and just helpful. One thing that I really appreciated was the updates that she would give us. Once we set our date, we still didn't know what to expect. And you can read what's on the website, kind of an itinerary, but still, what does that really mean? But Melissa would send out real timely information. The closer we got, it's almost like, are you getting excited, and tell us what's going to happen when and what you need to do and make sure you've done this and this. I mean, by the time we got ready to go, we were confident that we were ready to go. Everything else can be taken care of. And that's real comforting to know that. You're not stepping off into going, oh gosh, this is a third world country and we don't know these people. We felt comfortable with Jackie and Melissa at that time, so it was an easy step.
During the tour, it was very well organized. Like I said, we had a lot of camaraderie with the other couples that were on the tour. They were about the same stage in life that we are at, and we just kind of, with all the information of the tour and seeing the sites, you got to see other people's opinion and what was helpful for them, and you kind of gleaned off of what everybody else was kind of kicking around. So it was very helpful. The tour itself. The locations that we got to see, so we could kind of make our comparisons, and that checklist that Wayne was talking about, we could kind of see which one was most checked for us, so we kind of knew what area we wanted to zero in at.
I could add to that. I think we've made some lifelong friends, and we were kind of one of the first ones down here. And our other friends are really jealous now that we met on the tour because they know what they want to do, and they see we're already here, so that we stay in touch and give them updates. And so you have a place to stay when you get here to launch. And so several of them are in that stage. I figure within another year or so we'll have even more friends here. One of the neat things about the relocation tour is a lot of tours that we've been on in the past, whatever it is, once the tour ends, you get off the bus, you're back in your hotel, that's it. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. The neat thing with Jackie, not only is she just a tremendous resource all along the way, but you have follow-up. She will tell you, if you come back here, if you need anything, I'm here for you. And people can say that, but we put her feet to the fire really quick, and we still have. And she's on our speed dial actually. And anytime we have information, we call her, and we know that she's going to give us good information and timely information and the latest that she has. And it's just unbelievable what you would have to go through if you didn't have that follow-up. I mean, yeah, you're here, you knew a little bit about it, but now that you're here and you got boots on the ground, you got all this stuff still ahead of you. So
It's
she takes care of it.
invaluable.
Yeah.
I think it's just what we talked about just afterwards. I mean, we got here and you don't know anybody, you don't know where to even get groceries or whatever, and you want your recommendations on a lot of things. And she's been real timely, and she's been real patient at getting back with those answers for us.
I would think that definitely the tour itself was really well organized and really informative. But the fact that she's such a resource in here and still remains available is just, yeah, you just couldn't do it without her. You have to have somebody who's been there and done that. It would take years to do what we've already done in 2 weeks. I really feel that way, because you'd have to go turn over every stone and talk to every person and go in every business. And it just saves you a huge amount of time, which therefore translates into money, and that's always a good thing. I would highly recommend it, just for the reasons that we've talked about. It's not just it's not a real estate tour, it's not a sightseeing tour. It is for the person who is seriously considering relocating from the U.S. to Panama. And it's just a step-by-step laid out process. And it's for that, plus the follow-up that she gives at the end of the tour. That's what you put that all together and you have the total package. And I would just highly recommend him to anybody that's considering coming down here, hands down.
I don't know, just Jackie's take, there's no underlying issue. She's not selling real estate, she doesn't get anything off of it, there's no more profit or whatever, or additional profit. So that was so refreshing.
We moved to Boquete because it's the most beautiful place I've ever been. We were considering, during our checklist, climate was big, obviously, with culture and everything else that we talked about. But you talk about climate, you can get the climate precisely to your liking. We found out on the tour there's like 21 different microclimates in a short radius around Boquete, and that's why that they recommend that you don't buy, you rent. And find that climate that you're looking for. You can go a mile from here and have a different amount of moisture or sunshine. And where else can you go and get that? Where else can you go and have that kind of scenery and that view, and the temperature stays within 65 to 75, maybe 78 on a really, really hot day? That's very, very important. I don't think you could find any place in the world that would match that. There's been some frustrations. It's all positive, but there's obviously the frustrations, and a person would have to assume that you're going to have those frustrations when you get here. Now, the language barrier, for number one, that's a frustration. They're a little more laid back than we are. They don't really get in a hurry. That's kind of frustrating. But the language is a pretty big deal. But they're so helpful, and if you try to communicate, it's almost like they smile and go, okay, we'll help you through this. I think if you have an attitude like, you need to learn my language, I think you would be bumping up against the wall, and I don't think they would help you that much. But when you go in there with a smile on your face, and you try to get them to understand in a little bit of Spanish that you know. They appreciate that, and we have, even though it's frustrating, we've not been anywhere that we didn't get what we were looking for. If we spend the time, and they will spend the time with you if you try, and you smile is universal language. I don't care. That breaks all kinds of barriers down, and when they see that you're not a threat, that you don't have an attitude, they'll bend over backwards to help you find and get what you want. But I think the language is the biggest frustration. Another frustration is being kind of on the opposite end of Panama from Panama City, where everything is, including attorneys or whatever, and immigrations for the most part, is getting back and forth and taking care of business there. I think once you get that taken care of and get your visas all lined out, then everything will be kind of normalized. But that's kind of a frustration too, that distance and figuring out timing of things like that.
And I think too, the language barrier, because even if you're trying to do stuff online, I don't know what's said on the computer, but you know, then you put something in, it comes back in Spanish. You have no idea what they're saying, you know, and it takes you 30 minutes and I translate to try to get it, you know, but anyway, I don't know, you just have to kind of laugh at it and go with the flow.
I do. I would for sure take the relocation tour. Because it is the total package. There's no pressure, and I really appreciate that. It's not a sightseeing tour. It's not a sales tour. You don't feel like you're being pushed in any different direction. It is just to come down here to gain information, and you get tons of information. It's almost to the point of overload. Thank goodness she puts together a tremendous magazine that goes along, so you can go back and refer to stuff instead of having to worry about taking notes. But if you're looking for the total package, and you're seriously considering coming to Panama, you need to take the relocation tour, because it will show you the ins and the outs, the whys and the wheres of living here, and you get a true taste of what it would actually be like if you moved your family down here, from every aspect of the culture, of the area, of the climate, of the politics part of it. She just covers everything, and it's just an unbelievable resource, and I would highly recommend it to anybody that's considering coming to Panama. I would just say that this is just the most beautiful spot in the world. I mean, it's just breathtaking. Every day we get up and look at this and say, can you believe we're here? And you know, several months ago, we would never even though we knew when she retired that we wanted to go someplace warm, because Amarillo, Texas is freaking cold in the wintertime, and I've started shoveling snow, but we didn't think we'd end up this far south. But this is just the most beautiful spot in the world, and it's just, you wake up every day and you just feel rejuvenated. I just feel healthier because I'm here. I don't know what there is about it, but it's just, like I say, it's a Boquete bug that's, you just visit this and there's something. And we've talked to other expats that are here, and world travelers. We had dinner the night with a guy that sailed all over the Caribbean, all over the world. He's flown everywhere. He's done business everywhere. They came here one time and they looked at each other and said, we need to be here. This is where we want to be. And we were the same way. We knew by the end of the tour, when we left here, we knew, well, I think before the tour was over in Boquete even, we knew this is where we wanted to go.